Calm seems to be returning in the south-south state of Rivers after tensions were high yesterday over plans to impeach the governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara. On Sunday, the State House of Assembly was set on fire with explosives. Arise News gathered that when Governor Sim Fubara and his supporters visited the complex on Monday, security forces shot into the air and sprayed tear gas to disperse them. Later, some lawmakers led by the Speaker of the Assembly began an impeachment process to unseat Fubara. Well, the governor preempted the move and sacked his chief of staff and chief security officer, as well as the chief judge of the state. He is vying to resist impeachment.
We have gone to the Assembly to see for ourselves what has happened. On my way there, I was shot at directly by the OC operation, or DC, or whatever they call him. Directly, it's not. But it doesn't matter. Somebody will die, one way or the other. Either you die inside your house, or you die on the road by something. But so my journey today is, whatever it is that wants to happen, let it happen. If Siminalayi Fubara is impeached, I am not the first, neither will I be the last. Hold on. I'm saying if it happens. But what is important is any attempt that is not justified will be resisted. Let them come out. And tell Rivers people, that offense that is what I want. Come out and tell the people of Rivers State that offense that Fubara committed that is warranting impeachment. So that my happiness is the people of Rivers, represented by every one of you here, is with us. I can go home and sleep.
Meanwhile, the president of the Ijaw Youth Council is seeking peace in Rivers State. Addressing some Ijaw youths and supporters of the governor outside the government house in Port Harcourt, Jonathan Lokubiri appeals to the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesome Wike, to settle his differences with his successor. Lokubiri also dismissed rumors that the Ijaws and the Ikweres are at war over the matter.
It is our appeal to the political class in Rivers State and within the South-South region to intervene for peace. Neither the Ijaw nation or Ikwere would wish that we fight and become enemies in a state when we are to live together as brothers and sisters in harmony. This is not a call for war, but a call for peace amongst us. We are using this medium to call for the leader of politics in Rivers State, Governor Wike, that no matter the differences that may have happened, he needs to realize that this is only a young man he brought up.
We are here to maintain law and order. We will not dabble into political matters. We are not going to take sides, but we're going to make sure there is peace in Rivers State. We have been working with our Ikwere brothers, and to the best of my knowledge, let me emphasize on that, to the best of my knowledge, we don't have issues. The governor involved is a governor we voted for in Rivers State.
Joining us now on the show is His Highness Anabs Sra-Igbe, National Coordinator, South-South Leadership Forum, and Chatham Thierry Nwala, a lawyer, activist, and Pan-Africanist. Let's begin with His Highness Anabs Sra-Igbe. Your Highness, thank you very much for joining us. Well, I read a story where Ambassador...
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Where Ambassador Desmond Akawo was quoted as saying that what is going on in Rivers State is a family affair and that it to be resolved. Do you agree with him that this is a family affair with all the chaos and explosives and the violence that have been reported?
Well, thank you very much. I don't need to disagree with him. I need to agree that there should be peace and matters should be resolved. But yesterday was like a liberation for Rivers State. God himself liberated Rivers State yesterday. The people of Rivers State vehemently condemn the action of the former governor and his cohorts. What they did yesterday is what we call a mutiny or perfidy or coup. They plotted a coup against the people of Rivers State. They plotted a coup against the governor. And it is very sad that this is a governor brought by the former governor himself. And so the people of Rivers State are happy in the sense that the former governor was like a lame dog, the governor. The present governor was like a lame dog governor, while the former governor still preside over the affairs of Rivers State. The governor decide who should come to government house. The former governor decide who should come and who should not come. And today, we have all seen that peace will come, but then the governor should take charge of his government. A situation where you're a governor, somebody decides how you manage the resources of the state, having served for his own tenure. Somebody would be the one to cook the food, somebody would be the one to share it. That process is not allowed by our Constitution. The Constitution empowers the present governor to run the affairs of the state. The governor has no say in the past. The former governor is the one who decides what happens to the fake money. The former governor is the one who decides what happens to the internally generated revenue. The former governor will tell the governor not to travel. The governor must take permission from the former governor for every step. And this boy has been so loyal and has been doing everything the man asked him to do. A situation where you appoint 16 commissioners, the present governor can only nominate one, while the former governor will appoint 15. It's not done in any society. A situation where you have more than 17 advisors, and all of them were decided by the former governor. A situation where the former governor decides who becomes the speaker, who becomes the majority leader, and who are the officers of the house. A situation where the former governor will decide who should be the CSO, or who should do the security aid to the governor. The governor was caged, and to an extent, the state was caged, because whatever the former governor wants is what happens. The former governor controls Abuja, and he also wants to control Rivers State. And the present governor asked just a few things. Allow me to run the government. I am the one elected. Even though you supported me, even though you brought me, let me run the government. And they say no. And before now, some of us have asked this governor, the former governor, to let the governor be, the present governor be. Let him be the one to run the state. But it went into a deaf ear, and the former governor don't want to hear that. And when they saw that the boy was now resisting, he decided to impeach, started with impeachment. And that impeachment, we thank God, it did not succeed. He knows how he untwist the assembly members, but by the grace of God, they realized themselves within few hours and impeached the speaker and some of the other house officers and elected the former majority leader as a speaker. That is a good development for the state. We also be grateful to God that the governor is realizing himself, and at least he has been able to dissolve the executive council. I will appeal that this time he will appoint people of impeccable character and people who have the state at heart, not people who take directives from other people. I think the security attacked him yesterday, and the attack on the governor is an attack on the state. When you pour water on the governor, you pour water on the state. When you shoot at the governor, you shoot at the state. But these are preliminaries when you talk of mutiny. Anytime there's mutiny, the usual thing happens. And Rivers people willing to support the governor, and that was why they came in their numbers to say no. And so we are happy that we are getting a new development. We are not against him reconciling with Wike or anybody, but he must take charge of the government of Rivers State. He must decide what happens to the government of Rivers State, because he will be accountable. He will be held accountable after his tenure or even within his tenure. And we hope the former governor will realize himself quickly, because he has brought the karma upon himself. You know what happens between him and his predecessor? And this boy was trying to avoid it, but he refused. He has brought the karma upon himself by trying to forcefully remove the elected governor. So we are happy, we have gotten independence, the governor has gotten independence, and we move on. And we believe that this governor will do better, because you cannot outtwist him. You have, before you leave office, you have given contract that he will be paying for the next 3 years. So he will not have time to say, that is my project. Tomorrow they will say, you are the only best governor, and he's not a governor, he did nothing. Right. But God has liberated him, God has liberated the state, and we believe the present governor will look at the errors of the former governor and develop the state in a way that everybody will be happy.
All right, thank you very much, Your Highness. I believe we have Mr. Nwala joining us from Abuja as well. I have a question for both of you. Welcome, Mr. Nwala, and thanks for joining us on the show this morning. Two questions, one to each, Your Royal Highness, and then, of course, Mr. Nwala. Mr. Nwala, I'd like you to speak to, earlier on we had our correspondent from Rivers State talk to us about the impeachment, or perhaps the re-election, the suspension of the Speaker of the House, and then the purported election of a new Speaker of the House, 24 votes in one and 26 votes in the other, whilst we have 32 members of the House. Can you how can we make sense of those numbers, and due process being followed even in the State House of Assembly currently in election of principal officers, such that it almost seems as if there are two speakers claiming that they are currently the speakers of the House of Assembly in Rivers State? For Your Highness, I hear you in terms of what you've said, the allegations you've made against former Governor Nyesome Wike, that he's the one who's behind this, even though we haven't heard anything yet from him to either deny or accept that he's behind all that's going on in Rivers State and his high-handedness. However, would you not say that Governor Fubara himself had agreed to this kind of arrangement before he became the anointed candidate by Governor Wike? Because the issue of godfatherism is not new, perhaps I would say in Rivers State. I mean, you also talked about his predecessor. So right from former Governor Peter Odili to Right Honorable Rotimi Amaechi, from Rotimi Amaechi to Governor Nyesome Wike, from Nyesome Wike now to Fubara. The question is, how do we end this hold of previous leaders who want to continue to rule by proxy, and then leaders who are desperate for power and agree to this sort of arrangement, and then when they get into office, it becomes chaotic? I'd like you to speak to that, because yes, we're talking about you're alleging that Governor Wike is behind this, but Governor Fubara himself must have agreed to some sort of arrangement. What kind of arrangement did he agree to at the expense of the Rivers people in order for him to get access to power? I mean, these are the questions we need to, or conversations we need to have. I'll start with Mr. Nwala first, with regards to the legal backing, or perhaps how legal it is with regards to the election of a new speaker, suspension of the current speaker, and the likes in Rivers State. Mr. Nwala first, please.
Okay, thank you very much, and good morning, and thanks for having me here. Honestly speaking, when we talk about, these days, when we talk about legality and illegality in Nigeria, one has to be very careful, because the definition of legality and illegality in Nigeria today, it's something that is difficult to define, looking at the present Nigerian situation and system, because things we have always thought and known to be legal are now seen as legal. So it's really difficult to define what is legal and illegal in today's Nigeria, because you wake up tomorrow and you discover that things that were illegal yesterday are now, or that things were illegal today are now illegal tomorrow, which is quite an unfortunate situation. Now, the situation at the Rivers State House of Assembly over the issue of the numbers and all that. This is not the first time we're having such situation. And of course, Governor Wike has also had his fair share of similar thing happening during the Governor Amaechi's time as governor of Rivers State, where we had about 5 lawmakers impeaching and starting an impeachment process against Amaechi and all that. These things had happened. So it's not the first time. And we also saw people who actually backed it with law and supported such situation. But if we have to be honest to ourselves, the processes that led to Martin Amaehule and his colleagues sitting at the time when they did sit, you definitely fought the particular process, because first of all, one of the challenges they had was the issue of the mace, which is actually the symbol of authority of any legislative assembly. And the mace which was used was not even the mace of the Rivers State House of Assembly. It was a mace which they went around and picked up and did use for that particular process. So you ask yourself, what is the legality of such process where the said mace is not the actual mace that is supposed to be used for sitting in the Rivers State House of Assembly? Then you come back to these other group of persons who have actually said, okay, we have impeached the speaker, we have elected a new set of speaker and all that, and the mace which they used was actually the proper mace. Now, these are issues. These are issues that call for real concern. And you ask yourself, what are the procedures that were followed to reach out to this particular conclusion? So it causes lots of chaos for us and all that. And of course, at the end of the day, we just have to air our opinion on this issue. But the truth of the matter is, when we look at issues from the angle of legality and illegality in Nigeria, we can't really tell what is legal and what is illegal in Nigeria. Politicians have so bastardized our system to the point whereby everybody does what suits them and what actually supports their sentiment. And you also see lawyers and very senior lawyers arguing legally to support these particular sentiments which they feel pleased with and all that, which is an unfortunate situation. However, on the issue as Rivers State Assembly is as presently constituted today, we can't tell who is speaker and who is not speaker because of the situation we have found ourselves. But I must say for a fact that the high-handedness of Governor Wike in the Rivers State, it's just too much. And this is what has led to what we are facing today. Because, let me tell you, before the emergence of Governor Nyesome Fubara in Rivers State, we had a situation where people died during the elections. People practically died during the elections. Then 5 months later, you want to impeach the man as governor because probably some of the agreements you had with him, he's no longer living up to those expectations, or you're having some disagreements with him. And we know, when people talk about Governor Wike, I get to laugh because this man, we know the character of the person and the personality of Governor Wike. You know, when he was fighting against Godfatherism in Edo State, we saw how he shouted against Anabs Sra-Igbe and said he would never do such a thing. But the same thing is repeating now. So we must tell ourselves the truth that we can't, when you look at his personality and how he has gone about things, everybody in the position of Governor Nyesome Fubara will fight against such level of oppression, will fight against such level of intimidation from Governor Wike and his cohorts, which is really an unfortunate situation that has plunged Rivers State into the crisis that we have found ourselves. Now the House of Assembly has been burnt.
All right.
The House of Assembly has been burnt, and taxpayers' money will still be used to fix that House of Assembly because of someone's personal interest and all that.
All right,
so
Mr. Nwala.
These are the crises, these are the problems we have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nwala. I want to go to His Highness with regards to the question on agreements, governors, succession, and the impact on the people, and perhaps what sort of agreement and how we can learn from this for the future of Rivers State.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, we are talking about constitutional government. In the constitutional government, the constitution guides the operations of the government. Whatever agreement you have outside the constitution is null and void. Whatever promise you make outside the constitution is null and void. The constitution empowers the governor to run the state. It did not say, oh, consult A or B in doing so. There are constitutional bodies also that can advise the governor, and not the agreement you had. No agreement stands in politics. This is a known fact. The former governor himself made promises to Mr. Jonathan and Mr. former President Jonathan what and what he would do. But did he do it? Did he honor them? Did he respect them? He rather took Mr. Jonathan's father's house, demolished it. Is that the agreement you're talking about? So the issue is today we are talking about in Rivers State is not agreement. What we're talking about is good governance. We need the governor to rule Rivers State in a manner that he will have something to say in future. He must have a legacy for himself. At the same time, he will improve the lives of the people in Rivers State. Not a situation where only one local government is developed out of 23 local government, and you say you are developing Rivers State. Okay. That's not what we want. Okay. So whatever agreement they had is wrong. It's not proper. It's not known to us. It's not known to the public. What is known to the public is the constitutionality of who a governor should be. Okay. That is one aspect. On the issue of the House of Assembly, now the House of Assembly have not been able to come up with one crime Sim committed. They've not been able to say, oh, Sim did this, Sim did that. They have not said so. And there was nothing like a rift between them except a directive that was given, remove him. So military, we're not an authoritative government. This is democracy, and democracy are process. Okay. For you to impeach a governor, there are processes. And you have to serve the governor. That is one side. On the issue of the speaker, they said 26 of them impeached the former majority leader who was obstructing them and who started the process of impeaching the governor. Another 26 out of 30-something members. Another 26 came out today and said, yesterday, and said, no, we have impeached the former speaker for mutiny and perfidy and other crimes. And so they have sacked the former House officers, including the speaker. It's between the confinement of the House of Assembly. It's not the duty of the governor to do that. Because if they see that what they did was wrong, they retrace their step. And I think today they are standing behind the governor. Those that are not standing behind the governor are those that were suspended by the same House of Assembly for their illegal action. And so we don't see anything wrong in Rivers State as to what happens in this state. And the former people did not have a maze to use, but the people who elected the speaker as a maze, which is the authority of the House, to say, look, we are sitting as a member of the House with a maze. And again, let me say legality. Legality. The governor knows who is the speaker. The governor deals with who is the speaker. We have the instances in Edo State. And these are things that everybody knows. So we have no problem. We are watching the scene.
Okay, Your Highness. So for the sake of the right of fair hearing, because Mr. Wike is not here, can you please prove all the allegations you made just now for the reason for the problem? Because you said Mr. Wike was asking about contracts. He had given contracts prior to this time that Mr. Fubara will have to speak. You talked about travel. He doesn't want him to travel. Can you please prove all of these allegations, that you have made against Mr. Wike this morning? Because apart from just, let's just mute things, let's also be able to direct people to proof so that we can get the fact of the matter. Can you please prove? And for you, sir, Mr. Thierry and Nwala, you keep talking about high-handedness and godfatherism of Mr. Wike. But can I ask you a honest question? If Mr. Wike, as you claim, has become a godfather in Rivers State and high-handed, can't the people object to it? So is it that the people too are also complicit? Because you say he brought Governor Fubara in and he won an election. So is it that whatever he lorded over them, they accept? In talking about godfatherism, I want you to also explore the idea of the complicity of the people in all of this. But, sir, I will come to you, sir, Your Royal Highness, first. Can you please prove all of these allegations you've made? Are there further things we need to know? Your Royal Highness.
Well, I don't need to prove it. These are known facts. They are always in the social media. Everybody knows. The former governor, out of 16 commissioners, the governor was allowed to produce only one, while the former governor produced 15. As a governor, you cannot appoint your CSO. The former governor appointed your CSO. The former governor appointed the chief of staff. All the appointments that has been given were made by the former governor. These are known facts by everybody. And that is why it is very painful to them when the governor says, I dissolve the ESCO. That is one aspect. Two, you hardly see the governor attending meetings of governors, either PDP or anywhere, because the instruction is you should not go out. You rather see deputy governor attending and not the governor. The governor is not using the state plane, which is a known fact, because he would not like to travel. It is the former governor that will use the plane owned by the state. These are known to everybody. In terms of seeing the governor seeing people, you cannot just see people unless you have permission from the former governor. These are known to every River's son and daughters. So as regards whether we have been protesting, this protest has been on. I have personally come out severally to ask the former governor to allow this young man to rule. They're on record. We have been talking, allow this man to rule. Before he became a minister, the former governor have to report in his house every morning to take directives from him, as if he's the de facto governor. And in Godfatherism, if you look at the history of Godfather, there are principles that they applied. The Godfather don't control everything. They only give directions and allow you to operate. So what happened in River State is like we are caged. The state was caged. It happens in time when I came out outburst and said, leave this boy alone. If this is we are not seen, why will I come? And why did they not counter me? There was nobody who countered me. I challenged Wike to counter me. Let him come out. If it's possible, we face one-on-one. Let him say what I'm saying is not true. These are the facts that is known to everybody. Maybe when you have opportunity to speak to the governor, maybe we hear from him. Or those close to him. I am not in his government, but as another statesman, I happen to be involved in things that will improve the lives of
Your Royal Highness, you also talked about contracts. Can you expatiate on that? You said some contracts have been signed.
Let me give you one.
And state funds.
I will just give you one example. I'll give you one example. Governor Wike said by himself that before he left, he has planned the road, the ring road with Julius Berger. Unfortunately, time was not on his side, and so the present governor side. How much is that road? Almost 200 billion naira. A governor coming to office, you are giving him a project of 200 billion naira. This is not a project the governor planned. And there are things, small things we can do, what 200 million can do. If you invest 200 million in all the LGA, 10 billion in all the LGA, you can see how far it will go. But you have no option. And the directive is pay them in advance. And most of the contracts he awarded, they were paid before even the contract was done. These are known facts by the River State. And when he was even commissioning that road, his speech was very clear to everybody. So let him now come back to deny. Although in Nigeria, anything he can deny. He was calling APC as cancer, that he will not go to APC as cancer. Okay. That is in malaria, PDP malaria. So, but today, where is he? So people can talk with two different ways.
Do you have any...
But what you are saying that is...
Do you have any proof on the state allocation as regards certain amounts and state allocation being sent to certain parties? Do you have proof on that? You want to talk about that before I move to Mr. Thierry Nwala?
I am not part of the government, but... Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying, sir.
I said I am not part of the government. But these are visible things that everybody see. The governor has not even done thank you talk of the state. He's waiting for permission to go ahead. To do thank you talk.
Okay, so
there are things you will smell. If there's a good food around there, if somebody is cooking a good soup, the odor of the soup will tell you what they are cooking. Okay. If somebody is cooking bad soup, the odor of the soup will tell you what they are cooking. I'm not part of their government. Okay. And I'm an activist. I observe and I speak out. I expect them to say, challenge me, that what you are speaking out is a lie. Okay. Then we can go further to prove.
Okay, so you've stated your part. Mr. Thierry Nwala, the complicity of the people in Godfatherism.
Okay. Let me say this, first of all, before I even talk about the role of Wike in caging River State the way he has caged River State. First of all, let me say Governor Wike is a creation of Rivers people. because there were times Wike's high-handedness in River State, some of us cried out and shouted over some of the illegal things he was doing. Because it was against the APC at the time, the Rivers people hailed him into what he is today, into the personality he has created himself into today. They hailed him into becoming a dictator. And Wike ruled River State as a dictator for 8 years. Because if you come against Wike, if you speak against Wike, he comes after your businesses, he comes after your properties, he looks for ways to intimidate you. Now, this intimidation is part of what has kept a lot of Rivers people who are supposed to speak out, not to speak out. They held back and they decided to keep their mouth shut instead of actually dying or instead of actually getting themselves into problems. Now, this has been the pattern of Wike for the past 8 years in River State. So he wanted to continue with that same pattern, bringing in Sim. We saw what happened during the elections, how opposition political parties were stopped from campaigning, how people who didn't support him in the PDP, their felicitations were shut down and all that. So when you see this intimidation, naturally, you find it, people would find it difficult, even those who are supposed to speak out, would find it difficult to speak out. And that is exactly the problem of River State. Now, this has also translated into the ways he has also handled elected officers. In short, in River State, we didn't have elections. We just had Wike selecting a group of persons and forcing them into River State. And we saw, of course, he had some level of federal mind. And let's not also forget the area of violence that has always happened in River State. Opposition parties members are killed on a daily basis. And nobody's talking about this whole thing. But these are things happening in our country. These are things happening in River State. So Governor Wike himself created a kind of fear amongst Rivers people. Naturally, the average Rivers man is not timid or intimidated. But unfortunately, under Governor Wike, you found a situation where people were intimidated, people were harassed, people were arrested, people were detained on his instruction. So let's be frank about this particular issue, because over time this has been a part of his approach to politics. So when we talk about his high-handedness is written everywhere in River State. It didn't just start, and it's not going to end if nothing is done about it. That is why some of us are pleased with what is happening in River State, with the stance that the likes of Governor Sim is actually taking. We are pleased with it, because this madness in River State must stop.
But the people were complicit. Whether
you say the people, I agree with you to an extent. I agree with you to an extent, because I wouldn't say everybody, because like I said earlier on, Wike is a creation of Rivers people. Rivers people created the monster in Wike. Let's be honest about it. Rivers people created him because they urged him on when he continued with his high-handedness. Every day on social media, you see people hailing Wike, calling him all kinds of names and all that, urging him on in all the evil deeds he was doing in River State. And now, Rivers people are tired. They feel that, oh, we did, at this point, let me tell you, at this point, Rivers people are tired of Wike as a dictator. If they see a new dictator, they will definitely accept him gladly. It is not because people like Sim. That is why they are supporting Sim. The reason why people are supporting Sim today in the River State is because people are tired of Wike's high-handedness in the state. How a man would hold the entire state to ransom. Wike alone will hold the entire state to ransom, intimidate everybody. Everybody is scared of Wike in River State. Nobody speaks out. Even the pastors in River State do not speak out.
Nwala.
They are all quiet about it.
Nwala, I see you're very strong on Wike did this, Wike did that. But you can reflect on this. Is there a way in which the governor is the architect of his own circumstances? Because, yes, I understand the argument he wants to assert himself because he's the governor. But when he was anointed by Wike, it was good. He was a very willing person. Only for him to get there, and within 3-4 months, they started quarreling. Is there something himself, that he may have done, and lessons for other people who in the future will be hoping that a particular godfather will help them when they are looking for position? They are always very, very obedient, very, very compliant, only to get to office, and then the first man that they will fight is the same man who worked hard to put them there in the Nigerian palace. But you can think about that. Let me go back to His Highness. Your Highness, Your Highness, are you
Yes,
there?
sir.
Your Highness.
I am with you.
Okay, Your Highness, yes, quickly.
I'm hearing you.
You were quoted in the papers this morning, saying more or less what you said here on the program, that what happened is a mutiny against the people. You said the River State belongs to the people, not one man. And then you advised that Rivers people should get up. I think I wrote that down. By saying they should get up, what exactly are you recommending? Are you inciting the people to rise in a particular manner? And then secondly, there are other personalities in that state. Where is former Minister Rotimi Amechi in all of this, if you have any idea? Where is Tonye Cole in this matter? Where is Magnus Abe, Senator Magnus Abe? These are also key players in Rivers State. Are they in any way involved in this matter? Let me start with you, Your Highness.
Well, thank you very much. Whatever I said yesterday in the papers are correct. And the things I'm still confirming. I don't pretend about it. I don't say something and deny. Rivers people knows who I am. And what I say, when I say something, I stand by what I said, and it's the truth. The issue of who are involved, I said God liberated Rivers people yesterday. If not for the action of Wike, maybe Rivers people will still be in that darkness. As regards same coming to fight Wike over what they agreed and what they agreed, same did not fight Wike. Wike, greedy Wike, compel him to say impeach the boy as a dictator. And there is no way you will flog your son who has done nothing and he will not cry out. What Sim did was to cry out, and Rivers people are reacting based on the cry of Sim. How can the police shoot at the governor? How can the police pour hot pressure water on the governor, a sitting governor for that matter? Because the man is not in charge. The security agency don't see him as the governor. They all relate with Wike, who is the master. And so they can treat him as a common man. The boy never fought Wike. But there is one thing in life. I am getting older and I've seen life as it is. That is what you call the law of karma. The law of karma can come in different ways. You see, I have history for advising people against their actions because I know that the law of karma will come. I was very close to Peter Odili. I worked with him. I was in charge of revenue generation and security. And I advised. When I advised, I refused to take my advice. I have to resign. What happens? He never knew. I told him, don't allow karma to start. He never knew that his speaker, his boy, the boy he made speaker, would be the one to face him. Simple, very simple story. Amechi was nominated as the candidate of the PDP by the governor and few persons who influenced the elections, the primaries. All of a sudden, case saga came. I know Odili paid for Amechi's lawyer, and the lawyer was paid, who is the president of the general, on Sunday. And I was also involved in Amechi leaving this country to Ghana. But at the end of the day, when the karma will come, Amechi was a karma to Odili. And I told Amechi, what you're doing, don't try it. Amechi is alive. If you try it, karma will come. You've eaten this man's oil, you've eaten this man's salt. Don't try it, karma will come. They brushed me aside. Wike and Amechi brushed me aside. And I left the government. Now Wike has come. I told Wike, and everybody in Rivers State knows, Wike, don't start this fight. Because there's a karma. Let us stop this karma. Wike, with his usual way, brushed me aside. What is this man talking? I'm in charge. I told Wike, when your karma will come, you will not expect who will bring it. In this case, Wike himself invited karma upon himself by going to attack the governor. by trying to impeach the governor, by trying to sack the government. He plotted against himself. The boy did not say, I am not going to agree on what we did. But there must be allowance, even if it's you who is the governor. If there is the level of tolerance you can take, and you cannot complain. If you complain, you become a crime. The governor did not say, because of this, I am taking this action or that action. Never. But to the level of impeaching him is like killing him. If those gunshots touched the governor and he died, is that what the mutiny we're talking about? Rivers people are angry. I'm not part of the government, but today I'm angry. I'm speaking because we are all angry with the actions of the former governor.
Your Highness.
And that is why I'm calling the Rivers people to come and liberate their state. All the Rivers sons and daughters, students, elders, youths, politicians, academicians, they should all come together and liberate their state from this iron fist. We have to remove ourselves from this shackle. We could not do it as human, but the Almighty has done it for us. And we will stand by the governor. We will support the governor so long as he's doing what is right.
Your Highness, I asked you about...
If the governor deviates, you see people will oppose him.
Your Highness, I asked you about other leaders.
So what we are saying is...
Like Rotimi Amaechi, for example. Like...
yes, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. You see, if Rotimi is involved, they will think it's politics, or Rotimi is instigating it. Magnus has made a statement yesterday. If Magnus is involved, they say, oh, because of Magnus, he was not elected governor, or he was not given a ministerial appointment, or no appointment, he hates Wike. If Thierry, who is the candidate of APC, who is supposed to take the first benefit of APC, speaks, they will say, oh, because he did not get this, he did not get that. So they're all out. They did not instigate it. Nobody instigated it. Wike himself instigated this crisis. And Rivers people are keyed into it. And you see, every Rivers man, I have spoken. I am known to be the messenger of the Rivers people, the mafia. I have spoken, and Rivers people have heard my voice. That this is the position of things. They know I never tell them lies. I always stood for the truth. And I'm standing for the truth today. Rivers people knows that. So Rivers people will now be conscious. And that is why you can see the government has flooded with people. If they want to kill him, let them kill these masses first. And more people will come out. More and more people will come to visit the governor, Solidarity Mission, because they are tired. And I'm calling them to continue to come out. Let us give our son the right to rule this state. Let us encourage him not to be afraid, but only trust in God. Because when you trust in God, God will stand for you. This battle is not his battle. It is a battle orchestrated by the governor, the former governor himself. And the battle was fought by God. And today, Rivers people are happy. I am one of the happiest persons in Rivers State that the Green State is liberated from the shackles of this iron fisted person. Okay, so we are watching. We are not against anybody per se. But like I said, if we can realize himself and say he wants to make peace, there is nothing wrong in making peace, because the best security is peace. When you have peace, you don't fight. But the governor must take charge of the government. He must know those who are working with him. Okay, and Your Highness. When you are eating with the devil, you eat with the long spoon. So he should eat with the long spoon with those he sees that are purely out to destroy him. That's my advice to the governor. Well, and for the governor, I'm using the medium to call him to immediately call a security council meeting. Because there are security implications and what has happened yesterday. Now that these people have failed and the governor is taking charge, they should expect criminalities in the state. Yes.
Your Highness, well, quickly, let's go back to... let's go back to Nwala. Nwala, I'd ask you, is Governor Fubara's pain self-inflicted? Briefly, as you move on.
Well, Dr. Ruben, I must tell you something that let's agree on this first. Before we consider whether his situation is self-inflicted, let's ask ourselves, what led to this whole crisis in Rivers State today? Because even if I have an agreement with you prior to me becoming elected and all that, and at some point, you're not even allowing me breathe, you're suffocating me at this particular, at the point I will revolt. It's a natural thing. People will revolt for survival. Let's look at the situation that led to this entire issue. First of all, Governor Wike demanded 25% of River State allocation. Seem even from the rumors we hear about, seem even offered to give 10% of River State allocation. This is what is happening in our states. Not just that, we had a situation where he appointed almost all the commissioners, appointed SS for the man, appointed a chief security officer. Come on, these are personal things that should be of concern to the governor. These are things that should make him revolt. And when you see a situation where even the commissioners nominated by Wike as against those of them nominated by Sim, you see those ones disrespecting the governor of Rivers State. And you expect him not to revolt, to still stick to an agreement before the elections? No, naturally everybody will revolt. Let's look at what happened with the Songhai farm. Why is Wike angry that Sim is trying to restore the Songhai farm in Rivers State? When he killed Songhai farm, that actually created employment for Rivers people, because Sim wants to revive it, it's part of the problems he's having with Sim. And when you look at all these issues, you now ask yourself and tell yourself, should I obey the agreement we had before I became governor, or there is a need to liberate Rivers people? Because let's be honest. If Sim continues with the agenda Wike has for Rivers State, trust me, Rivers State will not make progress. Wike took Rivers State 10 years. 10 years backward with all the things he did in Rivers State for 8 years. He took Rivers State 10 years backward. That Rivers State today cannot even compete with states like Lagos State. Before we were competing with Lagos State, at least at some level. But today everybody in Rivers State, it's running away from Rivers State, looking for greener pasture elsewhere. Rivers State used to be a place where people return to. And you expect the man to continue to fold his hands and watch these things happen? Now, let me also shock you that out of the 5 billion palliative money that was sent to Rivers State, Wike demanded for 2 billion from it. And when we look at all these things, you will not ask him to fold his hands, watch these things happen to Rivers people. Sim also has conscience. And that is why some of us commend his move. And against what Wike is doing in Rivers State. Such high-handedness should not be supported by any means. And for whatever reasons, whether there was a prior agreement or not, such a thing should not be seen in Rivers State. And I commend him for this particular action. Any godfather who actually intends to control his godson or whoever it is he has brought into power by crook or hook, godson should never continue with that particular arrangement.
Nwala, well, I mean, we have no proof that Minister Wike demanded 25%. Or, made some of those demands that you've talked about, okay? We don't want to be part of any libel matter, yeah? But thank you very much, but thank you very much for joining us on the program, Nwala, and thank you also, Your Highness, for joining us on today's morning show. Thank you so much.